10. Autonomous man. Romans 3, 9-18. What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise, for we have been proved or charged, both Jews and Gentiles, that they are all under sin. As it is written, There is none righteous, no, not one. There is none that understandeth, there is none that seeketh after God. They are all gone out of the way, they are together become unprofitable. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Their throat is an open sepulchre, with their tongues they have used deceit, the poison of asps is under their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness, their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their ways, and the way of peace have they not known. There is no fear of God before their eyes. Romans 3, 9-18. Paul now openly states what he had previously implied. He says, in fact, that he has proven or charged that both Jews and Gentiles are alike fallen and incapable of any justice without God. The just are those who live by faith. The just, dikaios, are those who know and practice justice or righteousness. Paul in Romans 3, 1-18 has shown that there is neither justice nor life apart from God. To talk about law and justice as categories, universals, or realities which are apart from God and independent of Him is nonsense. Not only were all things made by God, and without Him was not anything made that was made, John 1:3, but the only concepts and possibilities which can exist are from God. When we talk about justice, therefore, we are talking about God, whether or not we admit it. The standard, thus, is God and His law word, not Jews nor Christians. Verse 9. If we begin with status on the human scene, we never escape the resulting humanistic premises and standards. Paul says, therefore, There is none righteous, no, not one. Verse 10. By declaring none to be righteous or just, Paul is indicting not only their behaviour, but also all men's autonomous concepts of justice. He quotes David in Psalm 14, 1-3. The fool hath said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy, or stinking. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. This corrupt state of mankind begins by saying in our hearts that there is no God. David does not speak here of the avowed atheist, an obvious case, but the practical atheist, the man who, whatever his verbal profession, lives, not by faith, but as though there were no God. All such, David says, are corrupt and have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. In David's day, the avowed atheist was a rarity. The practical atheist was commonplace. Paul retains this meaning. The Lord, viewing this scene of practical atheism on the part of covenant men, found that all are gone aside, they are altogether become filthy, or stinking. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. What David and Paul both give us is God's perspective of men who, while nominally covenant men, are in reality not of the covenant, because they have an autonomous idea of law and justice. They profess to be of the covenant, but there is no law, justice, nor goodness apart from God. Man cannot be the source of justice, nor can nature nor nature's law. Whenever we seek an independent doctrine of law, justice, and goodness, we cannot do good, only evil. Paul's use of David's words is governed by David's meaning. The just shall live by faith, 1:17. This means that the just, those who are the redeemed of God through Christ's atonement, now abandon their law and justice and their idea of goodness because their new life is derived from Christ's regenerating power, and so too their world and life view and their actions. Man knows in Christ that he must live by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God, Matthew 4:4. Paul, in 3:10-12, quotes David's Psalm 14:1-3. He is talking about more than mere verbal profession. He speaks of living by faith. In Romans 3:13, he continues to quote David, this time Psalm 5:9. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth, their inward part is very wickedness, their throat is an open sepulchre, they flatter with their tongue. He also quotes David's words in Psalm 143. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent, adder's poison is under their lips. The poisonous nature of the tongue of the ungodly is obviously stressed, but the comparison of the throat to an open sepulchre introduces more openly the association with death. The tongue of the evil is deadly, but the poison they spew comes from the jaws of death, from the throat as a sepulchre. Hodge said that the comparison is to the stench of an open grave. Calvin called it a gulf to swallow up men. Luther stressed the surface faith or nominal covenant status of the men here described. The apostle shows how such unrighteous persons sin also against others. As they themselves have turned away from God, so they seek to draw to themselves and away from God other people. As a sepulchre takes the dead, so their throat or doctrine devours those who already are so completely dead that there is no more hope that they might be reclaimed from damnation. Unless, by a special act of his power, God should intervene. Their throat is an open sepulchre because they devour and mislead many, as we read in 2 Timothy 2:17. Their word will eat as doth a canker. Such wicked deceivers devour also righteous persons. But as they cannot pervert their faith, they destroy them in their bodies by persecution. Their throat, therefore, is truly an open sepulchre. They devour ever so many by teaching false and deceitful doctrine, and they proclaim their false doctrine in such a way that it appears to be holy, full of salvation, and coming from God. All this is true. We must add, however, that Proverbs 8:36 is very much in line with Paul's statement. Solomon says that wisdom declares, He that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. It is the love of death which the reprobates, those who fail the test, manifest. Their gospel is therefore death. If men have no atonement in Christ, they will seek self-atonement in sadomasochism in ways which are marked by an invocation of death. Guilt requires atonement, and those who are guilty before God seek to invoke disasters on themselves and others to bring about atonement. Stuart Brand, creator of the Whole Earth Catalogue, has said, We wished, we eco-freaks, for a disaster or for a dramatic social change to come and bomb us into the Stone Age, where we might live like Indians in our valley with our localism, our appropriate technology, our gardens and our homemade religion, guilt-free at last. Paul, in describing the fact that all men are sinners and that no people, race or culture has any status before God apart from God's grace, cites a number of forms in which this practical atheism manifests itself. There is a refusal to understand God's word or to seek after Him. Their lives are unprofitable, and they cannot do good. The death in their being pours out in their speech. Their hatred of God means a hatred of life, so that their feet are swift to shed blood. In thought, word, and act, they are death-oriented, and destruction and misery are in their ways. They know neither peace nor God, nor the fear of God. Verses 10 to 18. Paul again quotes David, both Psalm 10:7 and 36:1. He also cites Proverbs 1:16. Paul thus cuts the ground from under the objector. There is no justice, law, nor good apart from God. To seek law in man or nature is to war against God. We must first see His law, and then we can understand its echoes in man and the world around him. The just can only be justified and made just or righteous by the triune God, because there is no other justice. The just can live only by faith in God's every word, Matthew 4:4, because any independent word concerning law, justice, goodness, grace, mercy, or love is a lying word and spells death. In any sphere, an autonomous word means death. Thus, Paul declares all men are all under sin, verse 9, when they are outside of Christ and under their autonomous word. The heart of all autonomous words is Genesis 3:5, man's great quest for independent and autonomous status, his desire to be his own God, determining good and evil, in every sphere for himself. The supposed covenant man who does this, who seeks to live by an independent word, turns his circumcision into uncircumcision, or his baptism into unbaptism. One final note. David in Psalm 51:4 says, "Against thee only have I sinned and done that which is evil in thy sight." Since God alone is a lawgiver, every offence is essentially against God. This does not mean that a crime against us does not offend or harm us, but it is God's law and God's justice which is broken, not a law of our making,